To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. A very good morning to the esteemed guests and the faculties present here. The Department of Accounting and Finance at SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramabra. Okay, sorry. To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. A very good morning to the esteemed guests and the faculties present here. The Department of Accounting and Finance at SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramabram, is pleased to present a comprehensive national level 3-week research methodology course. This course is meticulously designed to provide participants with essential knowledge and skills in research techniques and empowering them to conduct high quality academic and industry oriented research. The program targets academicians, research scholars, and professionals and students who aspire to enhance their research capabilities in the fields of finance, accounting, and allied disciplines. Let's commence this session with Tamil Thai and I request everyone present here to switch off their cameras and microphones. Thank you.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
I now request Dr. V. Deepa Ma'am, Department of Accounting and Finance, our program coordinator, to present the welcome address.
Yes, thank you, Preetham. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all of you on behalf of the Department of Commerce, Accounting and Finance, SRM Institute of Science and Humanities, Ramapuram campus for this national level 3 weeks research methodology course. We are truly honored to have with us today as our chief guest, Mr. Karthikeyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship at AM Jain College. Sir, thank you for gracing this occasion and for being a part of this important initiative. We eagerly look forward to your insight on today's topic, steps in conducting a literature. So your expertise will certainly set a valuable foundation for the rest of this course. Once again, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Though she is not able to join us in person today, I would like to acknowledge and welcome our esteemed Head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Chitra Srinivasan, in absentia. Her leadership continues to inspire us. We strive for academic excellence. I would also like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome all the participants, including the faculty members and research scholars of SRM, as well as our esteemed colleagues, research scholars, and the postgraduate students from other colleges. I hope that this session will be an enriching your research experience. Once again, thank you all for your presence, and I wish everyone a productive and insightful session ahead. Thank you.
Now I request Dr. Alamelu Ma'am to introduce the guests for the session.
Yes. Good evening, one and all. I'm very privileged and honored to read the profile of today's resource person, Mr. B. Karthikeyan, sir. He has completed his UGC NET in the year 2022. He has completed his BCom and MCom in the AM Jain College. He has a training experience in non-Mudalvan scheme as a trainer for the course Port Logistics organized by TNAPEX in the following colleges for the duration February 24 to April 24. The colleges are AM Jain College, Meenabakam, SRM College of Arts and Science, Katankulattur, and Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Vadur. He has published many papers to mention a
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. You're not audible, ma'am. That's your voice is not audible. Yes. Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. He has also participated and presented papers in various conferences, in international conferences, national conferences, and he has also received the Best Paper Award for the paper published in the international conferences conducted by Ahmed University for the topic Artificial Intelligence, a game changer for maritime businesses. Then he has conducted many national webinars to mention a few: research ethics and reporting, introduction to basic law and company law practice, achieving integrity through research culture. And he has also conducted various international webinars like cryptocurrency in investment, developing key for effective communication, and how to build career in software development. And his main key skills are ability to learn quickly, problem solving skills, ease with technology and gadgets. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, ma'am. Shall I proceed, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Karthikeyan sir, can you present your PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Is my slide visible now, ma'am?
No, it's not viewable.
Now, ma'am? Is it visible now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity for me and exploring my research skills with all other research scholars, faculties, and PG students. Thank you for organizing this type of methodology course. Thank you for the SRM IST Ramapuram. Okay. Okay. Before we start, um, yesterday's session, Dr. V. Andal ma'am also discussed about the importance of literature reviews, which is already discussed by ma'am. But I want to highlight some of the literature review meaning, introduction, and some aspects of the literature review I will slightly touch. Then I will move forward to the steps in collecting the literature reviews. So first, the basic introduction. So as we know, literature review is the base for any research. A literature review is a comprehensive analysis. It means it is having a huge number of data analyzed by already authors, many researchers, and that articles which we are comprehensive, that integrates various existing studies related to a specific research topic. And it is rather than merely listing sources, it combines insights from multiple sources to present a cohesive understanding. The cohesive means the interrelated understanding of multiple researchers which already discussed in a specific topic. In that we can see the synthesizers. It means it is the mixture or the combination of multiple literature reviews already presented and researched by various authors of the available literature regarding your research topic. When moving on to the meaning, the word literature review, the literature means, which we already know, it is a analyzed or processed data on a specific topic which is already done by a researcher. The review, the word review means review. We are reviewing the existed collected data organized by the researchers. So, according to our specific topics, the literature review in an academic work that showcases a deep understanding of existing research on a particular topic, that is conceptualizing it within a broader academic field. It not only summarizes the literature but also critically analyzes and assesses the value and relevance of the sources. The literature review in our daily life. Knowingly or unknowingly, our daily day-to-day activities depends upon the literature review. For example, if we are planning to buy a simple grocery also, we are comparing, reviewing, and finalizing the product or services. So we are in a day-to-day activities also, we are using the literature review. For example, if you are planning to buy a car, means first we check the price and its compatibility, the seating capacity based on our needs, online reviews, and the real known person reviews, that is the person who is really driving that particular model or a particular brand car. So we are collecting that reviews from the well known persons and from a reputed sources, the mileage, after sale service, and the different prices of showrooms. So we are reviewing these many aspects to make a purchase decision. So the aspect of literature review in our daily life is to aid our purchase decision. So how it differs from the research reviews and our daily reviews. So in research reviews, we reviewing which is already said, but in a view of already said, we have to understand what needs to be said. That is, what is the gap which didn't even discussed about the previous authors. So that is the main key difference between our daily day-to-day literature reviews and the research reviews. The need for collecting literature reviews. As we already know, foundation for research. For any research, the literature review is the base. Without analyzing the previous articles or thesis, we cannot proceed further, because the literature review holds a very important role. A literature review provides the solid foundation for new research by, that is, summarizing and analyzing the existing knowledge. We are summarizing what already said by the previous authors and analyzing what is not said. So we have to create our foundation and our research area or the topic research questions, hypothesis. All these things will be framed only based on the literature review. It helps the researcher also to understand the current state of the field, ensuring the study builds upon what is already known. That is, we can enhance the study which is already said by the researchers, or we can really perform or create a new field in that particular thing which is not already discussed by the previous authors. Then second need is identification of gaps. So basically, there is a literature review is holds a very important thing in what is already known and what is have to be explored more in the current context. So the identification of gap means it helps to identifying the gaps or inconsistencies in the existing literature. That is, highlighting the areas where further investigation is needed. This can guide researchers in formulating new research questions or hypotheses. So, based on the literature review, the researcher can frame the hypothesis and they can frame the questionnaire questions and the research title. They can frame the research title or redefine the research title based on the research gap which we are analyzing from the collected literature reviews. Then avoiding duplication. For example, I want to say with my example, my thesis topic will be the laptop brand preferences among faculty and students in the higher educational institution. I am collecting literature reviews on related to that. If we imagine the same study which is already discussed by a previous author or a researcher, then what is the purpose for me to carry on the same research? So to avoid a duplication, we must thoroughly analyze and summarize what are all the existence on that particular topic, and we have to segregate our topic or research area. That is, for me, for example, the same my thesis example, laptop brand preference. So in that, the product laptop, that is, how the laptop is being used in the academic area, and the customer brand preferences, the second area. And the third area will be higher educational institution, that is ICT tools used in the higher educational institution. So now I can collect the reviews from these three main core areas. So I have to collect these three core areas and I have to summarize, analyze what is already said and what is need to be explored further to enhance my study. So I have fixed my topic already. Initially, I fixed my topic something else, but after the literature review, I found the research gap. So after that, some topics have been already discussed and analyzed by the previous authors. So I need to reframe my research title, the main research title. So to avoid, the main thing is to avoid the duplication, we have to analyze and summarize the existence of that particular thing. So for that, we need a tool, this literature review. Then fourth one is theoretical framework. Based on the literature reviews only, we can get the variables to be analyzed and the factors to be analyzed. So without that, we are not that much good in research. Many people are budding researchers will not be that much good in research, so they can't think or experience more number of variables, that is dependent and independent variables. They can't frame their questionnaires based on that. Merely they can't, or imaginally, in the imagination they can't create their own dependent or independent variables by reviewing the n number of literature reviews, they get the idea about how this particular independent variable is impacting that dependent variable, how this particular dependent variable impacting our study, how it will be useful for the society, how it will be, how these methods will help us to enhance our title. So these many things will be helped to the researcher only based on thorough collection of the literature review. So based on that only the theoretical framework and the conceptual framework will be framed. Then credibility and context. The main thing, the main thing about the literature review is the source. We cannot create our own literature review merely. The credibility, we have to give the credits and citation to that particular researcher or the author for that particular specific topic discussed. And it gives that you are not giving your own content. For example, if we are discussing or defining the customer brand preference, means we are not marketing genius to give our own definitions. So for that we have to analyze the existent research definitions available for that specific topic. So and we are bringing that into our study. It may be an article or maybe a thesis. We are bringing that particular thing which is already discussed in the internet and by the previous renowned authors, and we are citing them. That is that this particular definition is said by this particular author or this particular researcher or this particular report. So we are collecting literature review from authors or book, um, and from the for majority of the times we can collect the reviews from the blogs. So in the blogs and the reports we need to cite in a different manner that I will discuss in later on. So these five are the main need for collecting literature review. I will repeat: foundation for research, the literature review is the base. Without collecting the literature review we cannot move further. Then second, the identification of gaps. Based on the identification of gaps, we can get, we can frame, we can frame our objectives, hypothesis, and research questions. So based on the research gap, we can frame these many things to avoid duplication. It is already discussed. The theoretical framework, that is the dependent variable and independent variable, how it will affect in our study and the meaning and these many things. And we cannot create our own dependent or independent variable which is actively or inactively affecting our study, how the bias will affect our study. So for these many things we need to thoroughly understand and collect, analyze the existent literature reviews. Then last one is credibility. So whatever we say in the research, for example, if we give a definition or a particular meaning for a particular thing for a specific topic, uh, the reader must understand that these things is are not merely spoke by the researcher. They must understand and believe that this particular thing is cited by a researcher and it has been said by the renowned speaker. So for that we have to properly cite and give the credibility for that particular topic which we are discussing in a paragraph. And this thing I will explain in the in text citation slide. Then coming to the components of literature review. This components of literature review means the whole, the totality of literatures. For example, in thesis, we can collect around 95 to 110 reviews. For an article, we can collect around 25 to 30 art. reviews. So the totality, this totality is having, must have these three components. So the totality must have these three main major components. For individual reviews, we are having structure of literature review, which I will discuss in a short period of time. For the totality, that is the total 100 reviews, or for an article paper the 30 reviews, we need to have the components of literature review. First one is summary of existing research. The previously published article, thesis, blogs, websites, newspapers. So these many things we have to summarize. Summarize means the summarize according to our own specific topic. In internet there are numerous papers. In while we going into the Google Scholar or Emerald or any other normal internet, we can get n number of thousands of articles available in the internet, but we are not summarizing all the articles. We are summarizing only which is helpful for our current study topic. For example, if we are creating a paper or writing a paper or a thesis in the topic supply chain, means we need to summarize supply chain management, and our subtopic will be, for example, electronics. So the electronic retailers. So how the supply chain affects the electronic retailers. So this will be, if I consider this as my research area, I have to summarize the existing research only related to the supply chain with the importance of electrical retailers. The critical analysis of sources. So what we call as source. So source means where we collect the data from. That must be renowned, reputed. The critical analysis of sources. So the journal which we are collecting, or the publisher who published the paper, must be renowned and reputed. Then only the research gap which you are founding will be very valid, because many journals or fake journals are there, that also in the Google Scholar indexed. So many things are there. So we need to take our article or thesis from a well renowned websites or a publisher. Then only our research gap and the things which we are learning from that particular research will be very credible and reputable. Third one is identification of research gap. So when we comparing all the literature reviews, that is 90 to 110 for a thesis or 25 to 30 for an article, we need to identify the research gap. For that, what we have to do, for each literature review, we need to identify a small gap, and that small gap should be written in the form of conclusion part in each literature review, which I will be discussed in a structure of a literature review soon. So these three main components comprises of the literature review as a total. So a literature review, that is the totality of the literature review, must have a component of summary of existing research that should be on the current study topic. For example, a supply chain of in a electrical retailers, and a critical analysis of sources, that is where we are collecting from, where we are collecting the data or article from. Third one is identification of research gap. Then the types of literature review. Totally, there are a major, actually, there are many number of literature review types are there, but comprising the six major types of literature review will be useful for any researcher to know in the initial stage. First one is argumentative review, that is mainly used to defend. This form of literatures that is selectively in order to support or refuse an argument. That is, for example, I will say an example in the Tamil. For example, if you know something about the Chola kingdom, அந்த Chola kingdom இந்த டைம் ஆல்ரெடி வந்து அவங்க அதை பண்ணிட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒருத்தவங்க சொல்றாங்கன்னா, இன்னொருத்தவங்க வந்து அதை சேரா வந்து ஆல்ரெடி பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஃபார் தட் we need a proof which comes first, who did it first. So with the proof, with the historical proof and the already existed proof, we used to defend or refuse or challenge the other party. So this type of argumentative review will be mainly used in the concept of literatures, that is the English literature or Tamil literature, the Sangakalam literature, and the philosophical concept. This type of literature review is mainly predominantly used in the field of philosophical papers. Second one is integrative review. That is, this type of review, the reviewer concentrate only on the scientific evidence. They will not go for the statistically it is feasible or not, statistically it is proven or not, it is conceptually it is weightage or not. They won't consider these things. They consider only it is statistic, it is scientifically evidence. They need the proof that is scientifically proved. For example, in many science or engineering papers or in that particular field, they need it is proved or not, that is this particular model gives that particular result or not, give the scientific explanation. For example, the sun is rotating, the earth is revolving around the sun. So for this, that we are having a scientific evidence, so we are believing that. So the scientific evidence is plays a key role, and that particular reviewer does not worry about it is statistically significant or not, or it is having a very good conceptual topic or not. They won't consider that. They consider only the scientific evidence. Third one is historic review. It's related with time, reviewing articles from the origin of that particular topic or scenario. For example, it is mainly used in the criminology department. For example, if the investigator investigating a accused person means, the investigator takes all the details of that accused person right from the beginning of that particular issue. So from that particular issue, from the date of that particular issue, it may be 10 years back or 15 years back, he has to collect and review all the documents related to that particular person and that particular scenario. So he will collect all the documents, and till to the current context he has to review and found the research gap that he is a accused person or not, that he is really connected with that scenario or case or not. So it is mainly used in the criminology department or archaeological department also. Fourth one is methodological review. It mainly focus on methods used in the content or scientific evidence. For example, if a particular scientific experiment is done means, they won't see the result, but that particular reviewer analyze and collect the review that how this particular experiment has been conducted, which tools are used to conduct that particular research. So if we modify in that particular methodology, we will get that particular desired result or not. So that particular researcher mainly focused on the methods which they are using. For example, it mainly based on the chemical related industry or the product development industries. So they use the methods, they use mainly how the competitor used that particular product. They won't see how the competitor's product has been developed. They only review what is the method they use to create that particular product, how the particular product give the particular result, so that we can so the competitor uh, can make the small change or the minor change to overtake that particular competitor. So the methods used, the primary focus of the researcher will be the methods used rather than the content. What is the outcome? They won't see the outcome, they see only what is the method. Fifth one is systematic review, which is mainly used in the academic field. Systematically collected reviews, it is having a form of structure. In our thesis literature review, many budding researchers may experience that collecting the literature review is very difficult, because we are collecting the reviews based on the systematic review system. So it is having a set of rules format, we have to follow that. So the structural collection and screening after collection review. Initially we look for the topic, then search for the relevant particular literature, and we are reviewing. Then we have to finally screen that. After collecting it, then only we can count as a that particular literature as a one. Sixth one is theoretical review, the theoretical conceptual. So this more both are same, the both theoretical and conceptual are sharing the same meaning. Theoretical review means it is a conceptual review mainly focused on concept rather than methods or scientific evidence or the result or outcome. They won't consider anything. They see only the concept. The concept means the specific topic, the specific topic or research area. So the theoretical review means the specific topic. For example, if I am conducting or preparing a paper in the topic of social media marketing, means I will search only one. I will collect the reviews only related to the social media marketing, how it how the AI impacts the social media marketing, how it is useful in the academic field, how it useful in the marketing field, how it useful in the scientific field also. So these many areas I will search only based on the conceptual review. I won't see how what is the method used in scientific social media marketing, or what is the scientific evidence, what is the proof, what will be the outcome. I won't see that and all. I will see only the topic, that is the topic oriented or my research area oriented. Moving on to the today's topic, steps in collecting literature review. First, we have to select a topic. That topic should be a broad category. That is, we cannot, as a researcher, we cannot confirm our topic in the initial stage itself. In the initial stage itself, we cannot finalize our topic. Hello. In the initial stage itself, we cannot finalize our topic. For that, we can have a broad area of our topic. So from that broad area of topic, for example, I'm taking my same research, my same thesis example. Initially I wanted to do a research on the laptop brand preferences, but many people already discussed or already analyzed, already did a thesis or a MPhil thesis on that particular laptop brand preference. So I found a gap. So for that, I searched the literatures. So how I searched and what are all the things I searched means, I collected a literature review from abroad, that is foreign literatures, Indian literatures, and particularly related to academics also. For both all the three, I preferred Elsevier, Emerald, Springer, IEEE. So these are my sources. So from these sources, I have collected my literatures. So based on my literature review, finally came to the conclusion that I cannot proceed with the same topic, that is the broad area of my research topic further. So I narrowed down my research topic into laptop brand preferences among faculty and students in higher educational institution. So I particularly chose my research area into the higher educational institution. So for that, before that, I need to develop the argument. In develop the argument stage, we will analyze analyze, summarize, and discuss what the previous authors already discussed. So we will analyze, summarize, and discuss what already been known. So with the known, I am creating the unknown. I am discovering or rediscovering the unknown with the known information which I collected from these sources by analyzing, summarizing, and discussing about the authors. So, survey the literature. What do you mean by survey? The survey means the review summarize the main insights and patterns from the literature we are collecting. The patterns which already been followed, that is, for example, in an empirical study, for a researcher conducting a research based on some steps, that is they are collecting convenient sampling technique, they choose only the academicians and they preferred only the private institutes. So these are the pattern they followed. So I have to follow the same pattern. Will it feasible for me, or I have to change the pattern, or I need to create or form a new pattern for my own study? So these things will be discussed in survey the literature. So in survey the literature, we are knowing, that is knowing the previous pattern, that is which area they discussed, which population they describe majority, or which area mainly they are focusing. So these many things we are expecting from the survey the literature. Then critique the literature. It means uh, in all the literature review there will be a strength and weakness, so we need to identify the strength as well as the weakness. That is based on that particular researcher, what the researcher gained, what he really did for the society. So these things will be discussed in the strength. In weakness part, what are all the drawbacks, what are all the hurdles they faced when collecting the literature review. So we will consider these things from the critique the literature. So we need to identify the strength, weakness. To avoid the weakness, we will rectify our literature review, and based on that we will imply that in our study to avoid the hurdles in further. Then finally we have to write the literature review. So the stages select, I will repeat the whole steps in again. We have to select a broad area of topic, search the literature review from foreign authors, Indian author, and particularly related to our own topic. So these two will be a broad, and this one will be a narrow one. And search the literature review from the renowned sources. So based on that, analyze, summarize, and discuss what already the authors said to know what already said. From that, we need to unknown. What is unknown? This will be our research gap. So then the final stage is critique the literature. Critique means what are the strength, what are all the weakness. So based on that, we can avoid we can avoid the hurdles in collecting the data, or in implementing the study. So in these things we can avoid the drawbacks. Then finally write our review. So this is the important stage in collecting the literature reviews. Then structure of literature review. We already saw the components. In components, that is the totality. That is the for a thesis around 100, or for a articles it may be a 30 to 40. That is the totality. We are creating the components for a totality. Here, the structure will discuss individual how a literature review should be. That is, every literature review, each and every literature review should have this three important aspects. That is, the introduction consisted of 10 percentage, the discussion 80%, conclusion 10%. So what is introduction? What the researcher tried to explain in the research, that is introduction. In discussion, what are all the methods, methodology, research design, sampling technique, tools used, major findings. So these many things will be discussed in a very short term in the discussion part that holds the major part, that is 80%. Third one is conclusion. In conclusion, it can be either the findings, or it can be a research gap. So in each literature review, we have to indirectly maintain a research gap on that particular literature review. So in text citation, I will give an example with in a real time soon. So okay, good versus bad literature review. A good quality literature review is characterized by being a concise and clear, that is the concrete, and with a very clear explanation the readers want to know, ensuring that the information is presented in a straightforward manner without any unnecessary complexity. What we have to say, we have to say directly. No indirect manner should be followed in explaining the literature review. Good reviews also have relevant headings and topics, makes it very easier for the reader to navigate through the content. On the other hand, bad quality will be descriptive, that is generally what I mean the what author discussed, that what is said in a very broad manner, contain fewer or limited sources. The sources means where we are getting the literature reviews, that is it may be a Google Scholar, Elsevier, IEEE, Springer, or Emerald. So these are all the some popular renowned. Google Scholar is a tool. Balance are all the popular renowned sources of literature review. So they containing a very fewer sources. contain summaries of literature with no analysis. That is, some people, still now also some people, they go search the topic, the search term in the Google Scholar, they get the abstract. So with the abstract, they give it to the chat GPT, give a literature review without any analysis part or without any theoretical framework. If a literature is being there, that will be of no use. That literature review is of completely no use, and we should not collect a literature review like that. We have to read the entire paper or the entire thesis in a very important aspect, that is, we have to skim the paper or thesis for getting the major observation. So based on the observation only, we have to write our literature review. Irrelevant headings, this maybe occurs in a very different aspects, that is, some people, majority, they won't read all the literatures, or I mean all the full articles. So for that, they get some keywords by skimming the article. They will give the irrelevant heading. For example, if we are collecting a literature review on the social media marketing concepts, the heading will be of search engine optimization. Though it is one of the important aspect of social media, the search engine optimization will not reflect the whole social media marketing. So the irrelevant headings should be avoided. Third one is, last one is, lacks proper format. It is not, I mean, the format here means the structure. The 10 is to 80 is to 10. So this structural format will not be available in the bad quality literature review. Let me explain with an example of a bad literature review. In this, the study by Smith, this is wrong, talks about how social media impacts consumer behavior. Another researcher by Johnson. So in this, what is really missing? The 10%. What is the 10% introduction? The introduction part isn't available. The 80%, that is discussion. Discussion is also not there. Straight away the research gap, I mean the research gap is also in there, and don't provide a comprehensive view of how social media impacts consumer behavior. So directly, without any supporting evidence, without any analysis evidence, without any theoretical background, the discussion have been made. So this is entirely wrong. So a literature review should not be look like this, or formatted like this, or collected like this. So every literature review must hold these 10 is to 80 is to 10 percentage format. So let me explain the same thing in the good format. So in this, the introduction, from this to this, the introduction part, that is what the author really tries to explain in their study. Explores relationship between, explores. So these are all the key terminologies. So the Smith explores the relationship between social media and consumer behavior. So the researcher introduced that, the Smith explores relationship between social media and consumer behavior. So this terms as a first 10 percentage. The second one is the discussion part. Further contribution, that is, we are discussing about that paper, that these authors contributes to this body of knowledge of by focusing on the impact of social media engagement on brand loyalty. So they are identifying the important factors, or it may be sometimes it will be as a variables also. So factors, variables are a two different concept. Providing empirical evidence, so they are providing the tools which they are using. So empirical evidence, that is a primary data, that consistent brand interaction on social media significantly enhances So enhances customer retention. This is the finding. So that 80% satisfies in this particular review, that is discussed, the factors or variables introduced, that is known from the research, and the methodology used, empirical evidence, and the finding enhances customer retention. So all the four things in the 80% have been satisfied in this particular review. Then this despite this holds that last 10 percentage despite their contribution. So they are trying to say the research gap now. These studies predominantly focus on Western market. So this is the conclusion of that previous study and do not account for cultural difference in social media, indicating a further research into non-Western consumer behavior. So this is the research gap identified. So every literature review should be looked like this. That is, the first 10% will be the introduction part, the 80% will be the discussion, the tools used, methodology used, the finding, major findings. So these things will hold the 80 percentage. Based on that 80 percentage, the rest of the 10 percentage will be discussed as the research gap identified. Then the methods I will show in a real-time example. Types of citation. So we are collecting the reviews and we are formulating based on the 10, 80, 10 percentage scheme. After writing a literature review, we need to properly cite it. For research and academics related, we are following APA style, that is American Psychological Association style, 7th edition. So the MLA format will be mainly used in the literatures or a religious study. The American Psychological Association citation format is predominantly used in the education industry. The Chicago format is used in history, fine arts. The IEEE format is mainly used in science backgrounds, that is engineering, computer science, and informational science. The CSE format is used in physics, chemistry, geology. So in as a commerce stream, we are mainly using the APA style references or citations in the 7th edition. So citation means cite. We are citing that this thing has been told by that person in that particular year, in that particular journal, in the name of this particular article, with this particular page number. So these many things we have to evident that this particular thing cited by persons. Then the elements. So you can see there are one, two, three authors are there. The year in which the article is published, the overcoming social and cultural barriers for diabetes is the article name. Western Journal of Medicine is the journal title, the volume, issue, the page number. Now listen, if a article or a journal or a paper blog holding more than three authors, we need to mention et all. It is a Latin word et alia, which means and more. That is 1, 2, 3, and more authors are there. That will be given in a short form et all. And year should be between the parenthesis, that is the within bracket. Overcoming social, that is the article name should be within bracket, that is within quoted, and the journal title should be in italics, because to differentiate the journal title with the article title. The volume number as a number. The issue number should be between the parentheses, that is the bracket, the page numbers. So this is the proper citation format as per APA style 7th edition. The ethics to be followed is whatever we are creating the literature reviews or searching the literature reviews, we need to follow ethics in all the aspects. First one is accuracy and integrity. That is, we have to, the researcher have to ensure that all the information presented is accurate and true to the original sources. We should not modify. We should not modify the original content given by the authors. That is, the accuracy and integrity plays here. The proper citation, for example, a definition or a particular concept newly introduced by a author means we have to properly cite them. That is, we have to give the credit that this person has said this particular concept. We are not saying that. The credit should go to that particular person through the form of citation. Respect for copyright. We should not take others content as a grant, and we cannot use that particular already previously done research by changing some minor changes in our topic or in methodologies. We should not use that the same previously done. We should create our own only with the help of literature reviews. Then the bias minimization. The bias means we should not collect always the positive aspects. The critic we saw the strength and weakness. We should not always take what the strength only. We should not always take what supports our research problems or research questions. We should also take the weakness or the threats for our study, so that we have to avoid duplication and we give the quality literature reviews based on our study. Then the transparency, whatever the transparency and proper citation playing the same role here. Ethical use of AI. Nowadays, it is the main important major thing. For example, if we are using the chat gpt or any other superior AI like Gemini AI, chat gpt, it can create its own literature review, but that is not correct. If we are taking a literature review completely created by ChatGPT or Gemini AI, it doesn't have any ethical use. That is, it is not been researched properly, it is not been cited properly. There is no such evidence that this particular thing happened or not. So we should not take the things merely from the chat gpt or any other AI created contents. We can use AI for summarizing our literatures. We can use summarize or to enhance the readability of our literature review. So, because some people's English language may be poor, the communication skill may be poor. For that thing, they can use ChatGPT or Gemini AI or Quillbot to to correct the English grammatical mistakes or to summarize the huge literature review into a shorter version or into a very meaningful version to enhance the readability for the users. So we can use that particular ethical use of the AI tools. We shouldn't 100% rely on AI tools. AI should not be completely used by the researcher. The researcher can use AI tools for summarize or enhance the readability, but shouldn't completely rely on AI, because that shouldn't reflect the originality of your study. If someone is evaluating your thesis or article means if they are searching for the DOI or the references cited by the AI, it will not be available anywhere in the internet. For that, we have to collect the proper real source citation, and we have to respect the copyright. By thinking all these concepts, we need to create our literature review. Okay, let me explain with a small real time example. For example, if we want to search literature review means, I obviously choose the Google Scholar. In Google Scholar, I am searching. Now I have entered my key term and I put an hyphen. Now I want the reputed and renowned source like Emerald. Then I enter. So now you can see the renowned journals like a Springer. You can you can see I chose Emerald, but there are no things coming under Emerald. Okay. 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 So I typed Springer. So the paper or an article published in a Springer came here. So I want a literature review in a recent times, that is from 2023, or I need from a 2024 also. So I chose 2023. The article came. In this, if you click in this area, the only abstract will be available. Here the full PDF format is available, so you can get the full paper. If you click this, you need to subscribe or you have to access through the institutional server to read the full article. I- Instead of that, you can click this PDF. You will get a full article. In that full article, you can never take the abstract. Just forget the abstract. Never see that. You need to start from the introduction. First, you need to filter your literature review based on the title, the application of principles of AI in social media. So my concept is AI in social media. So I take this paper. Since it is a Springer, I can blindly trust the credibility and the quality of the paper. So I can't, I don't want to worry about the quality or the methodology they used, whether it is proper, really conducted or not. So there is no need to worry about that. So I read the introduction. So in the introduction itself, you can see, so these are all called as in-text citation. In the in-text citation, why they are putting the in-text citation means maybe this particular line or this particular concept have been discussed or created or used by this particular author in this year. So we need to properly what we have to need to properly cite transparency and respect for copyright. So we are following the ethics. So the researcher followed the ethics and gave the credit to that particular author. So this is called in text citation. They are discussing everything and the research gap. They're identifying the research gap. So for example, if we are taking this article for our thesis means, for our literature review means, we need to start from the introduction. We give a skimming, then the research gap, then the research question, aims and objective. That is what are all the objectives they are framed, and what tools to attain that particular objective, that is methodology they used. And finally, the discussion and conclusions. So we need to study only these things. These things is enough. That is introduction, research gap, objective, the tools used, and finally the discussion and conclusion. So by reading these things alone will help you to write your own literature review for this particular article. For example, if any full length article isn't available, for example, for this there is no full length article is available. So we can skip that type of articles, or if we found the DOI for that particular article, we can get from the Science Hub website. Springer is not giving the DOI for that research. If we are unable to get the full paper, we can simply copy the DOI. We can simply copy the DOI, search for SCI Hub, Science Hub, open the first website, you can paste your DOI, click open. So the full length article will be available. If you are having a, for this article, the Google Scholar itself is giving the full article. Sometimes the full length article will not be available. In such cases, you can get the DOI from that website through the Google Scholar, or you can search directly in the Google. You can get the DOI, paste in the Science Hub, click open, you will get the full length article. And till 2023, all the papers, all the original, really, if the articles are genuine, that particular paper are uploaded in the Science Hub website. In 2024, papers are rent uploaded in the Science Hub website, so we can get the full access without paying anything, or login through the institutional access. We can read the full length article. That's all. Thank you for the opportunity. And this particular thank you image is also created by an artificial intelligence. Thank you all.
Okay, that was a wonderful explanation by Mr. Karthikeyan, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, you have patiently explained each and everything. We got a very good clarity on how to search for a journal literature review and how to get the research gap done and what are the sources, how to find the Google Scholar link. It was well explained, sir, really. It was a very wonderful and superb session, sir, today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh, so let us, Preetham. So our Professor Preetham, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
can switch on your camera.
Am I audible? Yeah. Just a minute. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Your props are insights are truly illuminating. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings and turn routine jobs into joy, changing change ordinary opportunities into blessings. Now I request Pratiksha ma'am to propose the vote of thanks.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Good evening to one and all present here. As we mark to the end of today's session, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. B. Karthikeyan, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Jain College. Your presence in this enlightening occasion and perception was truly valuable. I extend my cordial gratitude to our program coordinator, Dr. V. Deepa ma'am, for instigating this conclave. I thank our HOD ma'am, Dr. Chitra Srinivasan ma'am, VP Admin and Academic Sir, and our Dean Sir for their support in organizing this intriguing 3 weeks research methodology course. And I finally thank all research scholars and faculties for with their involvement. This session is a grand success. Once again, I thank you all for your presence and your dedication today. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We are at the end of the session. The Department of Accounting and Finance at SRM Ramaguram once again reaffirms its commitment to nurturing a robust research culture that aligns with the global standards. I thank everyone who has participated for their time and dedication in attending this conference. Thank you. Have had a great day, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I leave, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, yes. Sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.